Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. I got a quick video. This one was not planned at all, but I just read a comment on the video I just posted, and I figured I gotta respond to that because it's actually a very good question. It goes back to what I've been talking a lot back in the days about caloric intake and how gaining muscle or losing fat is not only about your calorie intake, but it's a lot about the factors involved. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's not true. That's bro science. That's bro science." Even though there's tons of research on it and anecdotes. But anyway, so the question he asked was, because I was explaining how I put on a lot of fat during the break, which is why I'm cutting now, and I went up to 217, and I'm cutting down. Currently, I'm at 207.8, so around 208 pounds, and I was explaining, how I put on a lot of weight during the break, when I was barely training. Uh, and I was barely eating also because, believe it or not, because I have a very bad appetite, and it's only the gym that allows me to actually keep eating. Because eating cardio or training, just makes you hungrier. And he asked me, he said, "Well, Megan, well, not to troll or anything, but if you have a bad appetite, how did you put on so much weight during the break?" And I love that question, right? Because it's making me make this video right now, guys. That's to show you nothing against the kid. Obviously he asked an honest question. That's to show you that a lot of people out there still believe that it's all calories in and calorie out, right? And I explain how that works to an extent, right? If you're an obese person and you cut back your calories, obviously you're gonna lose weight. But I also explain how the leaner you are, simply cutting back your calories is not gonna do it because your metabolism is gonna slow down. You're gonna have thyroid problems, and your body's gonna start storing fat. Believe it or not. And I compiled a bunch of examples I'm gonna show you guys, right? Because I already made several videos about this, and for some reason people are still, people still think it's just they're like, you want to lose weight, just drop your calories, as if it's that simple, right? As if Americans, are one of the most obese countries simply because they don't want to drop their calories, when it's not the only issue at work. There's all, your hormones come into play, your genetics. It's all about everything's about your makeup, guys. What genes are on, what genes are off, things like that. And also your macronutrient ratio, right? Like protein, fat, carbs, things like that. But let me give you guys a few examples, and I'll let you guys think for yourselves. Because I always tell people, think for yourself. Don't just believe every study that's out there or every video that's out there, whether it's bro science or pure science. Just think for yourself. Right? Let me give you guys a bunch of stories from my life and the lives of other people, and you tell me if it's simply a matter of calorie in, calorie out, right? Let's start with my uncle. A lot of you guys know my uncle's story, how he only eats. I'm gonna try to put some pictures on the screen if I can. Matter of fact, I'm recording using the webcam, which is lower resolution than my camera, so I won't be able to put too many pictures on the screen because it's gonna fuck it all up. But I might just pause and put it right here. These are the meals that my uncle eats, right? He only eats 2 meals a day. 2 meals a day. He's been doing the same thing since 2008, 2009. 2 meals a day, really high fiber, a lot of veggies. He's in love with vegetables, so he eats a lot of vegetables. Really low carbs. Like, I mean, the only carbs he eats is plantain. It's his favorite food, and even that he eats really low. He only eats 2 meals a day. Uh, each meal comes with protein and a shitload of veggies, guys. Kale, spinach, sometimes beans. He loves veggies. And I never understood that. You could ask Hanzah if you don't believe me, right? And we decided to track his macros for over a month, guys. He never crosses over the 1200 calorie mark. It's usually 11 something, 12 something. The highest we go, because usually we try to add at least 300 calories to it just in case we're missing something, even though we factor in the olive oil he uses and all these things. The most, if you give him 300 bonus calories just in case, the most he'll eat a day is 1500. And that's the most. I'm exaggerating. It's really like, it's way lower than that. But even at that, he was able to put on, you guys saw the pictures of my uncle. He was able to put on, he was at 185, now he's at 190. When he started doing like a intermittent fasting, carb backloading type diet, his weight went up. But he maintained 185 pounds of muscle. He's 5'7", 5'6", I think, 5'6", 5'7", and 5'7", 185 pounds of muscle. You guys see him, pretty bulky, good muscle on him, eating 1,500 calories a day, guys. And obviously he's older. He's around his early 30s. Now, if you put that into a calculator, you tell that to any fitness guru, is gonna be like, "Oh my God, no, that's way too low, man. My little sister eats more than that," which is true, right? That's very low For his size and age and activity level, he trains 5 times a week, very, very high volume, uh, super high volume, like 8 sets per body part and shit. And everyone is like, man, what the fuck, man? How is he maintaining that much muscle mass eating so little food? 1,500 calories max. Remember, it's usually behind, around 1,200. And we record his meals every day because me and Hanzah were trying to experiment on him. Like, yo, what the fuck, man? And that's all he eats, 2 meals a day, right? He eats when he comes back from work. He skips breakfast. Eats when he comes back from work and eats at night. That's the exact same meals. That's an example. Now, if you put 185 pounds with the amount of muscle mass that he's on, he has into any calculator, that will tell him to eat like 3,000 to 4,000 calories, right? Which is not eating. He's able to put on that much muscle. Um, let's see, Lazy Lion. You guys all know Lazy Lion, Matt, right? My good friend, my lord. Uh, Matt will testify. Matt eats more than me. Matt went up from 115 to I think he was around 130 something pounds last time we spoke. Even when we went to do the collab with Chris Jones. Matt will eat a minimum of 2,400 calories a day. He usually eats more than that. Matt eats a lot. Matt has a big fucking appetite, right? In fact, Matt will come over. And it's funny, I used to push him to eat a lot when he was 115 and skinny as fuck. And now when he used to come over, he would try to push me to eat because my appetite sucks ass, right? And we'll order chicken wings and shit like that. And he would finish his whole thing while I'm still struggling on like the eighth chicken wing and shit, right? And I would have to take a break and come back and try to eat again. Matt would run through his food and be like, "Oh my god, I'm hungry again," because we used to come over. We used to watch Lord of the Ring marathon all the time. You know, we super nerds, guys. We love Lord of the Rings. And he would just keep eating, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And Matt would maintain his weight. He was complaining that he couldn't get weight. I mean, he couldn't gain weight, 130 plus pounds, right? So this is Matt's example, right? Explain to me how that makes sense. How Matt is eating more calories than my uncle, who's BBC genetics, big, bulky, and is 185 pounds of muscle. Matt is 130 pounds. He's eating way more than my uncle, and he's not. According to the calorie in, calorie out, theory, Matt should be way bigger than my uncle, at least fatter or something, right? And my uncle, does more volume than Matt, at the gym. So that's one example. And also, I was back at the time when Matt was here because he's in California now. I was 200 around 200 pounds, eating barely around 2,000 calories a day. He'll testify, guys. 2,000 is pushing it. I would normally eat like a Subway, come here, snack with some cashews, you know, go up down a few protein shakes to try to increase my caloric intake. Look at my fitness pal. I normally add 200 or 300 calories plus just in case, and I was still around 2,000. And he was like, dude, how is it that I'm eating more than you, and you're not, putting, you're still 200 something pounds. Mind you, I was doing full body workouts, which I'm gonna get to that later. So that's Matt's example, right? Once again, the caloric calories in, calorie out doesn't work here, right? Now let's see. A home girl, I'm not gonna mention her name because I didn't ask the permission, but I was tutoring her for economics back at New River, right? And she would eat so much fucking food, guys. Black girl, nice petite frame, about probably 5'6", 5'7", I think. And she would eat so much. Like she would come in, and one day I finally asked her, I was like, yo, tell me all the stuff you eat, throughout the day. And we wrote it down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She's by far above 3,000 calories. She would eat ice cream, Bojangles, then she'll go to Walmart, then McDonald's, then Chick-fil-A. She will introduce me to fast food places I never even ate all in one day. And she'll be like, oh my God, I'm always hungry. And she's naturally skinny. Guess how much she weighs? Eating over 3,000 calories a day. And this is a girl, a tiny girl. She's so petite and cute. And she was 130 pounds. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. And I was like, I was about to say her name. I was like, how do you do it? She's like, I don't know. I always had a fast metabolism. Once again, she eats more than me. My uncle, I was 200 plus pounds. My uncle was 185 pounds. She was 130. And she was able to maintain that weight. Normally, according to calorie in, calorie out, because she's eating so much, she's supposed to burn that. And her job is sporting goods. She just stands at sporting goods. That's all she did. So you can't be like, oh my God, maybe she's doing marathons and shit. Nah, right? So you have the I was about to say her name again. You have her example. Next, you have Hanzah. I gotta make this video short because it's already at 9 minutes. Hanzah, I wrote everything there. Hanzah at 2,500 calories a day. Hanzah doesn't go above 2,500 unless it's a cheat day. And you guys know how much Hanzah weighs now? Remember, Hanzah was 185 when he came. Hanzah's 240 pounds, and we track his calories. I mean, he was my roommate. We track his calories daily. Me, my uncle, and him. We kept doing the whole experiment thing. And Hanzah will rarely go above 2,500 unless he's eating like cake or some shit. He's trying to have a big cheat day for callback loading. And because he mostly eats high protein, a very, very high protein diet. He would eat like 4 chicken leg quarters a day, protein shakes, whatever. Hanzah was always big on high protein. And he went from 185, 190, 195, 200, 210, 220, 230. He's currently 240 and he's trying to cut down, right? Still got a lot of muscle on him. So, once again, explain that the whole calorie. He's a 240 pound guy for a whole year. He maintained 240 pounds for a whole year. You put his stats and the amount of muscle mass he fucking carries, you guys saw how fucking massive Hunter is. This is a picture of him at 200, and he's 240 now, right? So, based on how massive he is, if you put his numbers into any calculator, that would tell him to eat at least 4,000 calories just to maintain his fucking body weight, which is not eating. Somehow he's maintaining his muscle mass, right? Once again, calorie in, calorie out, fuck out of here, right? Next, me myself, right? You guys know I started at when I was 18 years old. I was 142 pounds, right? That's when I lost the first time I actually tried to lose my belly from the skinny fat genetics. I was 142 pounds, right? So naturally skinny guy, with the cheeks and the belly. Everybody knows that same story, right? And I was eating one fucking meal a day, guys. All my friends will testify this because we used to play basketball a lot. We used to play basketball for 4 to 6 hours when I was living in my own apartment. And I would eat Chinese food, the same exact meal. It was pork fried rice with 4 chicken wings, fried chicken wings and pork fried rice, right? We used to joke around because we'll call him every day. He's like, "Oh, my friend, I know it's you, whatever." They'll send the order, because I didn't have to repeat it. It's the same order. And the food would arrive. Obviously, Hansa eats like a troll. Will eat his Chinese food. I would eat half of mine because I had such a bad appetite. My friends would laugh at me. We'll go play basketball and I'll come back and finish it. Then I'll go to work. I used to work overnight. I used to work 2 jobs back then too. I was always a hard worker, guys. Always trying to make it out on myself, on my own. So I used to eat the same meal every day, guys. Every day, Chinese food every day. No veggies, no fruits or nothing. And go to my fitness pal and put pork fried rice with chicken wings. It's not any more than 1,200 calories. Usually around maybe 13, but it's around 1,200 calories. Because it has a lot of fat, even though it's only like two cups of rice or 2.5 cups of rice. And I just couldn't gain weight, man. I was 142 pounds. Uh, Now I'm eating the same amount of calories, right? Right? Because remember, guys, during the break, I was eating that amount of calories. I was just eating one Subway a day. If you go to my fitness pal, a Subway is about 1,000. I take oven roasted chicken breasts, with only sweet onion. I don't like putting too much fat on that, and that's around like maybe 1,200 calories. Also, it's all around the same caloric thing. If you add like the light mayo and shit like that. And I was eating that during the break, and I was at over 200 pounds, guys. Once again, with all the stress that was happening during the semester, I just kept piling on fat, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? I should be back down to 140 pounds, and I'm going up to 210 and 212, eating 1 foot long a day, guys, 1 foot long. And I would come home maybe once a day, snack on my fucking cashews. So you could add that, maybe 300 calories, right? Still not even 2,000, and I was above the 200 mark, right? Compared to me eating the same amount at 140 pounds. Once again, doesn't fucking add up, right? Let's see. So that's me at 18, currently at me now. Also, how did I go from 140 to over 200? You guys remember? I started doing full body workouts 2, 3 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I don't remember. And my weight just went up, guys. I was 160 when I started. That was after a year of training. I went from 150 something to 160, and I was stuck at 160. Couldn't gain weight. Kept trying to eat, and the more I would eat, the more my stomach would just grow. So I started doing full body workouts. Long story short, I put on 40 fucking pounds in 6 months. I got videos to prove it. I put on 40 pounds in 6 months. Still had my upper abs showing, right? Because I went from 165 to about I think it was 197 in the morning and around 200 pounds at night. So like around 40 pounds in 6 months with visible abs. So I wasn't a fat ass, guys. And what happened? Was I eating more? Hell fucking no. What did I start doing? Full body workouts, right? More nitrogen retention, more protein synthesis, increase my water intake, things like that. And my weight just kept going up, 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 up. And I was like, what the fuck? The most I was eating around that time, I have on my fitness pal was 2,500 calories. Still not in the 3,000 range because I just couldn't reach 3,000 calories. Once again, why is it that I put on 40 pounds when I was eating just the same way I was always eating? The only difference is I changed my training style, and I already made videos about why full body workouts puts on so much muscle in the short term as opposed to splits. But that's a whole different video. So you have that example. Also, genetics, right? Me and my sister, because my sister eats way more than me. My sister's like mad, guys. My sister eats a fucking lot. You go to her house. We went to see her in Miami the other day. I mean, in Florida last year, and she has cereal everywhere. That's all she fucking eats, man. Is cereal and milk and high calorie shit. And she is fucking skinny. I keep begging her to put on weight because she's getting skinnier and skinnier. And she doesn't understand how she's eating way more than me, and she's not putting on weight, and I'm eating below her, and I'm putting on the weight like crazy. And even when we were kids, we used to eat together. We come from an African family where everybody eats the same meal. It's not like here where you, mommy, I want to eat this, I want to eat that. Nah, whatever mommy cooks, you eat. And we grew up together eating the same shit at the same time. If I was getting a snack, she was getting it too. I was the fat kid, she was the skinny one. Once again, genetics. Last but not least, my brother. I gotta make this video show. My brother eats more than me. He's right there in the room, fucking us, right? He's way more than me. You can ask my uncle that, right? He eats like a maniac. He's 17 years old. It's that time in his, he's going through that growth spurt, and he's 170. All right, I eat less than him, and I was 217 on the break, and I'm cutting down. Right now I'm 209. I mean 208, 207. So once again, guys, the numbers the number it's different for everybody. You can't just say, "Well, I want to increase my calories to put on weight." You might put on weight at first, but it's really about your hormones, right? What's up, what's down, what's on, what's off, and your macronutrient profile, right? Are you eating higher protein? Is your protein to carb ratio like what is it looking like? Are you eating more protein than carbs? Are you eating more fat than carbs? All these things come into play, guys. You could take two people, one from West Africa, right? And one from East Africa. I already told you guys the genetic difference between black people and the rest of the world, right? Even West Africans and East Africans, who are both black, have completely different genetic makeups. They could eat the same calories, go and do the same training, and this is science, prove the fuck vent, right? They did a lot of studies on that. They could eat the same calories, do the same training, same everything, and then the West African will bulk up and put on muscle way faster and way more significantly than the East African, simply because of the fast to slow to muscle ratio, the hormones, the myostatin, and all these different things that come into play. So don't oversimplify bodybuilding and just tell people increase your calories, you put on weight, decrease your calories, you lose weight. Once again, that works in the short term. Long term, your body's gonna adapt to that shit, right? Stress plays a big part. Like the last semester when I went up to 217, eating like crap, eating one Subway a day, and rarely training, put on fat like crazy. Once again, my genetics. The Unknown story, the Matt story. I could give you guys a story all day long and make this video 30 minutes, but nobody's gonna fucking watch it except for the veterans, obviously. So the point I'm trying to make is it's all about your genetics, right? What genes are on and what genes are off, things like that. If you're insulin resistant, obviously you're gonna put on more weight. If you got leptin resistance problems, thyroid issues, things like that. People with high testosterone levels are naturally lean, right? You just can't fucking do anything about that. I mean, everyone has this skinny friend. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everyone has this skinny friend that plays video games all day. That's the same thing everybody else does. Eats like a fucking pig and is still skinny. We all have that friend, right? He's skinny as fuck. He's barely active. He will run through a whole box of pizza and get up and have a flat belly. And we're like, what the fuck, man? And you have the same friend who probably eats two bad meals a day and is fat as fuck. So guys, you gotta put that into the equation. It's not all about calorie in, calorie out. It's a lot about your genetics and your macronutrient profile. Me and you could eat 3,000 calories. Pick two Megans. Megan one, Megan two. I eat 3,000. He eats 3,000. I eat a 40% protein, maybe 20% fat, maybe 40% carbs, whatever. I'm gonna look way better than Megan number two if he's eating 3,000 calories, but I don't know, 80% carbs or 80% fat and 20%. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the macronutrients. Your protein intake, your fat intake. You know, adjust that shit to meet your needs and, like I said earlier, your genetics. Right? Don't boil this shit down to one simple formula of calorie in, calorie out. Because I just disproved this whole shit, and I'm not the first one to do it. All right, guys. Hope this video helps and answers a lot of questions. If you want to put on muscle, lean weight, learn your body, your genetics, know how your body works. Right? Adjust your training and your eating to meet those demands, and fix your macronutrients. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Hope that helps. If you have a question, comment below, type video question. If you still don't believe me, then fuck you, man. I really don't know what else to tell you. But do what works for you. All right, guys. Team 3D Alpha. Unleash the conqueror within, guys. One day at a time.
Yo, come on, son. Anyway, so I was like, yo, Hanzah, let's make a video and show them how we came up with these insiders. And we spent like the last 10 minutes laughing. The first one is you have to chill.